Pain exists in two forms. Exterior, that which is caused by forces we can't control, and interior, which we can. Both, though, can be managed through will.
I know, I've researched the techniques. Breathing control, hypnosis.
What of the spiritual nature? Have you researched that as well? The interior is something you deny.
No, it's something I manage.
Do you?
Does Batman use his pain? Or is he working for his pain?
Something changing your mind.
So I was going to begin with a joke about the sudden overuse of Gotham Knight as a title, but I can't be bothered. Batman Gotham Knight, like the Animatrix, is an anime anthology designed to both expand the world of the live-action films and help establish new minor characters. So it doesn't just promote the Dark Knight, it becomes part of the Dark Knight, which is why Batman looks nothing like Christian. The film is broken into 6 parts, and the sense of three-actness stems from the increasing access we have to Batman's psyche. In Have I Got a Story for You, which is a riff on the Batman Nobody Knows and the Legends of the Dark Knight, kids tell various stories of Batman, but instead of being intertextual references, the variations are different exaggerated sides of Batman's visual appeal. As a man who moves so quickly, he's like a living shadow, a giant scary winged demon, a technologically heavy robot man with giant vehicles. Every anecdote builds on the same chase until it culminates with the real Batman appearing.
Looks like I owe you one.
This short does 2 things effectively: prepare you for the various art styles and also start from a position of a complete outsider. Batman is a force of nature, but when we see him, he's a bleeding human being with weaknesses forgotten in the myth he's become. An aspect that is not only a literal manifestation of Ducard's promise from Begins, but is what's exactly expanded upon in the next short. In Crossfire, we're privy to the next level of strangers Batman is impacting: the police. The department is now overworked and quiet as new transfer Crispin Allen becomes resentful over Batman's involvement, because instead of actually stopping real crime, Jimbo's new unit is all about acting as his delivery man as they drop off the guy from before. Out of all the shorts, this is the most important one in terms of being a piece of transmedia. Not only do we know what happened to the Narrows, but the police culture of either being totally apathetic or totally abusive and corrupt from Begins is properly transitioned into the whole open secret cooperation in Dark Knight. Ramirez is also introduced, and she defends Batman as someone that's Gotham born. For the first time, she's not ashamed to be a cop anymore. But then the Italian and Russian gangs shoot across from them, in which Batman interferes, rising from the fires like an angel, changing Alan's mind. Batman is not just an urban legend, but a systemic force of reform, and it's all possible because he's different. He's compassionate. That's how he changes hearts and minds. If Crossfire ended with Batman saving people, then his need to value life is fully concentrated on in Field Test, as we're finally privy to the new young Bruce Wayne, who gets a new shield generator that makes him totally impervious to bullets. But that leads to another guy being hit, and he's forced to desperately save him, resulting in Bruce throwing it away.
I'm willing to put my life on the line to do what I have to. But it has to be mine, no one else's.
Which seems kind of ridiculous, because I'm sure he could have probably calibrated it or something. But the point is, Batman not only doesn't kill, but his greatest transcendent power is his lack of fear with death, and more importantly, his capacity to endure pain, to treasure life.
It works too well.
In Darkness Dwells, he enters enemy territory, gets injured by Killer Croc, and fights Scarecrow and his army with no fear to save the life of one man. It's so amazing that Crane is literally frozen from the sight of all of this. And it's from his reaction we pivot from the perspective of outsiders, allies, and enemies to finally Bruce's own relationship with himself. After the triumphant ending in Darkness Dwells, working through pain opens with him awkwardly wobbling through the sewers, wounded. Either the 2 animation studios weren't in communication during this time, or as a deliberate dramatic device. This contrast is actually pretty cool in relations to presenting the broader themes. As all the previous shorts, there was a pattern in showing Batman rising above the world around him as something more than human because of his triumphant tolerance to pain. But now this mythical appearance is gone. We're in his mind now, and this is where the collective theme of Gotham Knights finally comes into focus. Although the short has the worst continuity in the trilogy, because during Bruce's travel, he's using his real name and wealth to try and get trained.
No, Mr. Wayne. They're not concerned with your money.
Even though he's supposed to be legally pronounced dead at this point.
Dead? You've been gone 7 years. You have me declared dead?
Anyways, he volunteered in war hospitals, learning how to treat people without anesthesia, and ends up being trained by a woman called Cassandra, who was ostracized and demonized by her community for disguising herself as one of the guys to learn. As a result, she lives outside of her community where she's close enough to be abused, but also close enough to still feel like she belongs.
In your life, isn't there such a place?
Obviously, this mirrors Bruce's relationship with Gotham, the place where his pain originated from, but where she wants to teach Bruce to work through his pain, to put it in its place, Bruce wants his pain to work for him. He learns all the physical techniques and training, but never quite understands the spiritual aspect.
But your pain is beyond my abilities. Perhaps yours as well. For your pain is leading you down a path you desire.
Which is externalized by the fact that we open the story with him literally screaming, and then at the end, he opens a can of whoop-ass on her harassers, causing her to kick him out. Bruce is someone who's unchanging. His attitude with pain is paradoxical, where he wants to master and use it.
I'm looking for a way to deal with my pain.
But he's also serving its will because the destination of his path right now is still more violence. Still more pain. He's not written his life so his pain is only the beginning and his destination is of peace. Instead, he's writing his life within the parameters of the pain. As a result, in this version of the story, he's always going to be trapped here, unless he leaves. As for the ending symbolizes this with the discovery of a pile of guns at the end of his path, and his inability to take Alfred's hand into the light.
I can't.
Facing the bullet is Batman's means of dealing with the pain every day, and it's that inhuman bravery that transforms him into a legend. Strangers will see him as more than human, his allies and enemies will see him as a fiery god, but Bruce himself, he's always trapped wondering if he's a fool, which is climaxed in Deadshot. This is the coolest one of the lot, it's got the sexiest animation, and it's built around a fight between a man who's paid to kill and a man who volunteers to save. Batman must protect good old Jimbo, and hands Alan a Kindle with all the Tom Taylor Injustice comics to entertain him during the escort.
I'm having a hard enough time reading this screen without the glare from that visor.
But old Jimbo was just a trick. The real target is Batman, and he beats Deadshot by running towards the bullets with no fear, no flinching, using his pain to fight the pain, to make meaning from the pain. The bullet is what Bruce sees, it's all he sees, it's something he's familiar with, something he thinks about every day, something he sees every day, and it's from fighting those bullets, he feels in some way a step closer to the impossible, in saving his parents.
The next time someone shoots at you, try ducking.
It was just like that night in the alley, Alfred. The closeness of the walls, the gunfire. It seems I've been trying to stop those two bullets all my life. It's a fool's dream, Alfred. Sometimes I think I should just be done with it.
Perhaps you're right, sir, but something tells me you have a deeper purpose.
And as much as he wonders if it's a foolish journey for him, everyone sees him as something almost mythological. So that was the Batman Gotham Knights video, which I just randomly made because, I don't know. In terms of the Gotham Knights game, it recently won the poll on Patreon, so I guess I have to now. So that's delightful.